Welcome back to the Storyboard podcast. My name is Justin. This is my wife, Kirby. And we started this podcast to talk all things filmmaking and creative. And we had a bit of a hiatus. It's been 2 weeks that we missed uploads.
Yeah.
But first week, we didn't have any excuse. We just got busy and got behind and didn't get to do it.
We were traveling.
Yeah.
We went to Dallas. And then week 2, we were in Mexico.
So we were on vacation last week. And we didn't have episodes prepared for that. So we're playing catch up now.
We considered filming an episode under a palm tree in Mexico.
Yeah.
But we were overweight on our baggage and didn't really have the space to bring all of the equipment with us. But
yeah, so here we are filming finally. I've been missing this because I love getting to sit and yap and talk about movies and all the stuff that we have going on in our life.
And we're overdue because we haven't had movie chats since we've been on vacation.
And we've seen a lot of movies.
Yeah, we have.
And a lot has happened since.
What was our last episode with Christian?
Oz.
With Ozzy.
Yeah.
And then that was number 9,
I think. Yeah.
Crazy. Number 10. Made it to 10
Made it 10 episodes.
We need confetti.
I wanted to make it to 10 episodes unbroken, but it's all right.
That's okay. We're
in the
playing
way.
catch up.
Yeah. But so what has happened over the last month? You did your shoot with Dennis Rodman that we can finally talk about.
Yes, it has been under wraps for months. When did we shoot that? January, February?
February, I think.
So almost 3 months that it's been under wraps.
Yeah. How was that?
It was so much fun. Huge shout out to Kyle Novak because it was one of those right place, right time connections. We met Kyle back, I think it was in 2021 at Alpha Land, kind of in passing.
Yeah.
We followed each other on Instagram and then kind of just kept up with each other through that. But he reached out and said that by some random connection, Dennis Rodman, the all-star NBA basketball player, that I didn't really know his history, to be completely transparent. He lives in the Houston area, but he has a clothing line called Rodman Apparel, and that he was launching a new collaboration with Planet Hollywood, and it was going to be launching in PacSun, and they wanted to do a shoot in Houston. It was kind of last minute, and they needed a photographer, and Kyle was filming the video portion, and was like, would you be interested? I was like, holy moly, heck yeah. So that was it was a really cool opportunity. I got to actually creative direct the shoot. They said they wanted it to be kind of a vintage 90s throwback feel.
Yeah.
And worked with Kyle to pick the studio, order the backdrops, book the models. And then we had the studio for about 4 hours, but we only really got to shoot with Dennis for about 30 minutes because he showed up, kind of looked at his outfits, got dressed, got in a few photos, and rolled out. And so I think that's pretty normal in situations like that. You don't really get a ton of time. And so I always black out on shoots like that whenever I'm kind of hopefully I got enough. I kind of just shoot like crazy, and I got way too much because our shot list was actually pretty, it was not super long of a shot list, but it was fun. We worked with the other models, Dom and Laura, before he got there and after, and we got to shoot some jerseys and cool stuff. Yeah.
So this is probably your biggest shoot that you've got to do, and it was
not biggest,
not people, but
people or budget wise, but
biggest that's going to be
biggest name.
Yeah, and to be displayed on the PacSun website, and we need to go check the store because I don't know if they actually made prints of it or not. But
we went to PacSun and the shirts were there.
Yeah,
but we didn't see any physical
photos.
Prints. Yeah.
But I know Drake, the guy that was in charge of everything, he kind of let it in your hands to be creative directed.
Yeah.
So what was the process of kind of putting together the mood board and figuring out how you wanted to
so
execute
I feel like this was a pretty unique situation because they kind of gave me full creative freedom. And I mean, that's every photographer's dream, but I also got in my head about it because there was so much freedom. Drake, he did send a mood board with some previous shoots that they had done for Rodman Apparel.
Side note, not the singer Drake.
Sorry, Drake works with ID Supply, and he is kind of in charge of the marketing for the company that distributes all the Rodman Apparel clothing, like collaborations. Mm-hmm. And so, he's in the mood board, which helped. And then I basically, being like the overachiever that I am, I basically like made one from scratch just to make sure we were all on the same page, to say, okay, here's what I'm thinking. This is like the vibe, the studio, the like the tone of the images. And they loved it. Like I sent model suggestions. I basically wanted him to give me the green light on everything before I signed off on anything, and budget, obviously, because he gave us a budget. And then Kyle and I kind of used the available budget to split it between both of us, like timing, models, if we needed to rent any gear, all that.
What were you looking for? So they gave you like full freedom to find the models and everything local. What were you looking for in the models?
Yeah, they wanted models that felt young but had very unique features, as far as like to be able to style the clothing in ways that weren't just like how a mannequin, like not just like a straightforward way. So for example, like the clothes are all oversized. So with a female model, it's like you can put an oversized t-shirt on a female model and it can look boring and boxy, or it can look stylish and trendy depending on how their hair is styled and their jewelry and like the pieces that you pair with it. And so I tried to find people that already had an understanding of really good fashion forward style. And Dom and Laura were both amazing. Like they already, their Instagram, their portfolios, they're professional. And it was just a really easy decision. I think I did send Drake maybe 5 or 6 total options, like for men and women, and he narrowed it down to like 2 and 2, and then was like, you pick. And so I picked, because we only needed 1 male, 1 female, and then Dennis was like the third. And so they both were just, I knew that it would be easy because they were going to come to the set with some of their own clothing that they already owned, oversized denim, cool sneakers, like the stuff that they didn't have to go out and buy. So it was easy to pair, like to style the fits with what they brought.
Yeah. So like, I mean, we've been on so many shoots that are clothing based things. So like, I guess walk the audience through like a day in a shoot like that. Like, so we get to the studio, how early they prep the clothes, like the model show, like how does a day in the life of a studio apparel shoot look? I guess when you're shooting with us or shooting with you.
So, I think whenever you've been shooting for a long time and you've seen a lot of, I don't even want to say mistakes, but a lot of like unforeseen things that pop up, you start adding them to your list of like, this could go wrong, this could go wrong. And it's good and bad. The good side is that you usually become over-prepared because you're paranoid that things could go wrong. The bad is that you're usually over-prepared. That's not really a bad thing, but you usually are way more over plan, I guess. So for us, for every shoot at minimum, no matter what, even if we can't get into the studio early, we show up 30 minutes early is on time. That's like our cutoff. People always laugh when they hear I say that because it's like I say it all the time, but I actually prefer an hour early, meaning an hour like before the call time.
Yeah,
not
because
the shoot.
because like you get there, I mean, if you get there at your call time, 1, you don't know if you're going to run into traffic, you don't know what you're going to run into, but 2, it's like you get to kind of settle in, see your lighting, even if you can't get in, you can just like see the environment of wherever you're shooting. It helps your brain. Yeah, and you just kind of settle down so you're not so frantic.
Yeah, because when you show up to a place, especially somewhere you've never been before, I feel like it takes a while to assess the room. And with us, we brought snacks. It was a really small team. Like this was not a full-scale production. Like we didn't have we didn't have production assistants, we didn't have a stylist, I was creative directing and styling and photographing and posing and post-production. So that's not the norm. I feel like the bigger your team is, the more like early people need to show up and everything. But just because of all the unknowns, like with this studio, for example, we couldn't get in early. So I made call sheets for the team and then gave us a 30-minute buffer from when any models were supposed to show up, since we couldn't get into the studio early. So it's like our call time was the 30 minutes before anyone else showed up, because I wanted Kyle and I to be able to get a game plan for how are we going to shoot together, how are we going to go back and forth, photo, video, and like I said, just walk around. And thank goodness we did, because the studio, we got taken to the wrong room first, and then
first the guy was 15 minutes late to open the studio.
Right, and that was completely out of our control. We were all standing in the parking lot.
Never booking a studio with that guy again.
With the doors locked. And that's what I mean when I say like unforeseen circumstances, because I think...
Well, we were already thinking, how are we going to pivot? Like, are we going to have to find another studio?
Which we were ready to, I mean, we've done that so many times too. You have to prepare for things to go wrong, because things always go wrong. So my brain was like, okay, how do we take this into downtown and shoot in the skyline?
Side note, Houston's not known for being a production hub. And it's things like this that keep it like that. People that are unprofessional, that if you own a studio, make sure it's nice, because you don't know who's coming to your studio. Like, we were shooting Dennis Rodman. We were flying people in from LA that are used to like high budget productions, and you're late for opening your studio. Yeah. Like, that doesn't make us...
And that, like, we're paying for.
Yeah, like, that doesn't make us look good in Houston. It doesn't make us look like we can handle big productions. So, like, if you want people to come to your town, be professional. Be like...
Well, I mean, it goes... Any service. It doesn't matter. I mean, in the film production industry, like, go above and beyond, you know? Like, impress people. Like, even if it's for nothing, even if it's just for a Christmas family photo shoot, it's like... Be there, ask if they need anything, bring water. You know, like, I feel like that just goes such a long way. Just being, you know, like, it's not customer service, it's hospitality, you know? Yeah. Anyways, so that was one of the things. And like I said, because I put buffer time, it keeps me from panicking. Because I've worked on it over the years, but I do have a tendency of not being able to think super clearly whenever things are like burning around you, like when the environment's on fire. And so because of that, it just gives me a lot of peace to have that extra time. So I wasn't worried that we couldn't get in early, because I was like, we got time. We planned for this. So once we got in, we got settled. We had plenty of time to steam, like we helped Drake hang the clothes, steam the clothes, unload all of our gear. We brought our awesome bestie Nick to film BTS for us, and so he was there helping us unload all the gear. And then Kyle brought someone to help film like behind the scenes for him as well. And once we were all set up, then I get anxious, because then it's just a waiting game, because your lights are on, ready, everything's functioning correctly, and you just wait for the talent to show up.
What kind of lighting style did you do for it?
I did 3 different setups. I did some, I say like e-commerce, like white background stuff, but I prefer white background images not on a paper roll. Maybe it's just because I've shot on a seamless paper roll for so many years, but I prefer using a wall. So if there's a white wall, I will always go with that. You get less chance for wrinkles. You have more space to zoom out and not get the edges of the frame. And I think it looks cool when there's contrast with the floor, because we had concrete floor and the white wall. So for that one, I did a 3 light setup, 2 rim lights, and then a key or main light on my model. And that was for all the website photos. So I did front, back, and close-up shots of all of the pieces. I think there were maybe 10-ish, like, top bottom pieces, and we photographed all those on Dom on our male model first before other people showed up.
So whenever you like shoot something like that, you try to give them like a variety of...
I always try to give way more than they ask for. Like I said, I feel like that's my way of doing like the hospitality in a way, because it's like they really only needed a shot of each product, but my brain goes to, if I want to get hired again, and not only to get hired again, but also just what if the graphic designer that's making newsletters for PacSun is like, man, I really wish I had a shot of the back of this jersey for this one cool idea. I think as a creative, I'm always looking to like help other creatives out. So it's like more is always better.
Yeah.
So shot all those variations, and then Laura showed up, and then we got her dressed, styled. She didn't have to shoot any e-commerce stuff. So I tried to knock out Dom's stuff first and then break that lighting setup down to where it's like, okay, that's checked off the list and we can just move on. And then we went to lifestyle setups after that, and then did, let's see. Actually, I did 4 lighting setups because I did 2 lighting setups on the vintage backdrop, which I ordered on Amazon, which is like, it turned out so good, but it was just a cheap Amazon fabric.
They were like the old school,
like JCPenney or like yearbook, like high school yearbook background kind
graduation, yeah.
Where it's just kind of like a, not paint splatter. It's kind of like just a gradient, like multicolored. And we had like a light blue one that looked very yearbook. And then we had like a tan one. Once again, the tan one wasn't even part of the, that was an extra. Cause I was like, I feel like I'm going to want variety in such a short amount of time shooting. And then halfway through, since we had the time, I switched it. And the tan one's like, I feel like they used on the website significantly. So it was one of those things where it's like more is just better.
Yeah. And it's good because you gave them variety and you let them like, that way they can pick.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean, with that, you were given so much freedom that you didn't really know exactly what they wanted.
Yeah.
So it was good that you gave them variety to decide on that.
Yeah. And those, so we just clamped those to a backdrop stand in the studio. And I pivoted even with that from like my original lighting setup plan because the fabric was thin enough that light would pass through it, which sometimes is not good. But I was like, let me use this to my advantage. And I did a backlight, full power. I was using 3 Pro Photos, a B10X Plus, and then 2 B10s. So I put my more powerful Pro Photo at full power directly behind the backdrop, almost to kind of like silhouette them. And it passed through the fabric, and it was subtle because a lot of the fabric's like cutting the light down, but it kind of like outlined them and separated them from the backdrop, and it made it look so much more elevated than just like fabric. Like it made it look kind of almost like it was done in post, so that was a really cool effect. So for the more traditional one, I just did a standard backlight and then front light, like in an umbrella, like a soft front light. And then when I switched to the tan or the blue, I don't remember which one I started with, I took the softbox off and did a harsh front light to mix with the soft. So like harsh and soft combined. And that's when Dennis got there, and that's when we had to just rapid fire. And I was just shooting bare because they wanted it to feel, they actually said they wanted it to feel not paparazzi, but a little bit more candid front flash, like you're caught a little bit more like off guard. And some of those were my favorite, that weird combo of the backlight with the front light. And the good thing is it makes it easier to shoot fast whenever you're like, you can kind of move anywhere and you just have this like big front, it's like lighting the whole scene. So that was light setup 3. And then I think 4 was the brick wall that we shot Dennis and Dom together. And that was straight full paparazzi. Like we definitely staged it to look like we were catching them off guard.
And then you did some cool stuff with the roof too.
Oh, that was just like
last minute candid, like not candid.
He was actually on his way out. like Dennis was not done.
Well, it was funny because like he was there for 30 minutes and then Drake came up and he's like, all right, he's good. He's like ready to roll.
Drake was like, I think we're good. I was like, okay. I don't remember if it was me or Kyle, but it was one of those situations you can read the room and you're like, you can ask for more and risk someone saying no, or you can like play it safe and say like, don't, but then you always have to wonder, what if I would have gotten that last shot, And so I could tell that he was still relaxed. He was not like, he wasn't frustrated or anything, and he wasn't like on his way anywhere. And I think I just politely was like, would you mind if we just grab like 2 more shots? I promise it won't take more than 30 seconds. You can totally say no. Like I gave him a way out. And he was like, sure. And so I think that was really cool because PacSun used that on their homepage. And I laid on the floor and shot underneath all 3 of them and got like the roof of the studio in the background. That was definitely just like a...
That's crazy that like the shot that was almost an after shot ended up being on the PacSun homepage.
Yeah.
That's wild.
But that's why I always ask myself, I feel like you have to trust your intuition. It's like, is it worth asking for that extra shot? 99% of the time it is, because it's like,
the worst
what
that
if
can
you
happen,
don't get it?
They just say no or just walk out.
And as long
like,
as you're respectful, I mean, like they could say, no, thanks, I'm done. And you don't press and you just leave it and you let them go on. But if they're going to give me more time, I'm going to take it. That's for sure. like if they're willing to give me a little bit more time, I will use it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. It was a cool experience. I just went to be a helping hand. I wasn't hired as an assistant or anything. And I was like, I'm just going to go and just be a fly on the wall.
Well, you were my assistant, but you worked for free.
It was fine. It was worth it though. We have a BTS video coming out, which I'm going to steal all of these clips for. That's why I was asking you all the questions. Like
that's smart. Multi-purpose.
Yeah, multi-purpose. That's what we do. But yeah, super cool opportunity. I'm like so proud of you to be able to do that.
Oh, thanks.
So you got to edit it all, which is cool. And it was cool that it came full circle for you being in PacSun, because that was a place that you used to go as a little kid. Yeah,
that was a full circle moment because I shopped at PacSun. PacSun has their stuff is actually really good now, but I used to go to the mall, which was like 30 minutes from our hometown, and there weren't a lot of stores there. We had PacSun, we had American Eagle. We really like Aeropostale. I think there was only like a few stores.
Yeah, there wasn't much.
And I remember like walking through the mall, and that was like our only chance to get to see like, I don't know, like cool window displays. And like in my mind, I was like, those are real photo shoots. Like those are big giant productions. And being able to just see my images on the PacSun website, it would be really cool to see something in print too. Maybe something will make it in print. But that was just such a cool, I was like, I can't believe, I mean, not that it's nothing crazy about PacSun specifically, other than just there was like a special place in my heart for like, this is where my teenage self used to shop, and I never thought I'd be like the one shooting it.
Yeah, well, growing up where we grew up, like you said, that was our only view into like any kind of production or photo shoots or whatever. So it's like we grew up looking at those things thinking like, oh, one day, and then like one day it happened.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So cool. I definitely need to print the website with the images on there and like frame it in my office. It's a milestone.
A huge milestone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like speaking of milestones.
Yeah. Other big news, we are having a baby.
We already announced it.
Yeah, we did it. We did in the last one, but like it was just kind of like skimmed over.
I feel like it's still a secret.
Yeah.
For some reason on the podcast feels like different than, because we've posted it on Instagram and stuff now, but it feels like, oh, we can't talk about it on the podcast.
But I feel like we should just mention it, and just for future reference, because you're going to grow on the podcast. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Every episode, every week, I'm going to be a little bigger.
Yeah.
I am 18 weeks, officially 18 weeks in like a day or two. So it's crazy to have made it this far.
Yeah.
It's been just a really crazy brain shift, obviously, like whenever you go through any life changes, whether it's moving or changing jobs or changing just like direction in life, and having a baby is obviously a huge life change. So we've just been like viewing life differently, not necessarily on purpose, but it's like the shift starts happening. And I think it's really cool to see you looking at even, your dreams differently, and your outlook on like how you're treating your filmmaking. I don't know. It's been really cool.
Yeah. I feel like one thing that I've learned about myself recently, like within the past like year or so, is I've always known that I'm a procrastinator at heart, but I've figured out how to like kind of turn it into my superpower, and how like deadlines are
like using them to your advantage.
Yeah, they're like really good for me, because if you were to say like you have 6 months to make this film, I will use all 6 months to make it. And half of it will just be me wandering around trying to like figure out how I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you tell me I have 2 days to do it, I'm still going to make the film, but I'm not going to waste as much time thinking about it. I'm going to actually like put it into action. So I think with this, like we know the baby's coming in September. I've got between now and then to, make the films I want to make and to do the music videos I want to do and just kind of like get everything in order. So when that time comes, we can take the time off that we want to take off and enjoy being new parents and having a newborn. So yeah, the past 2 months, I guess, have been crazy busy. That's, with the podcast, trying to get that going, trying to get a system with that so that whenever time comes, we know like, okay, we're
already in a rhythm.
Yeah, we're in a rhythm. We can backlog however many episodes we need to. Getting the short films done that I want to get done. There's like 2 or 3 right now that I'm trying to kind of do pre-production on, and getting writing done and everything. So yeah, it's kind of putting everything into gear for me.
So outside of time, I mean, obviously like right now our life feels like everything's on like a ticking time bomb because it's hard to think outside of just like, oh, this is how much time we have until everything changes. But how would you say, knowing that you're going to be responsible for a human life, how has that changed your perspective on not just your career, but just creativity and like how you're living your days out?
Yeah, it's crazy because I don't know, like we're both big dreamers and everything like that. And we take risks, and we're like, I don't know, we don't live like a normal, I guess, life where you
what is normal?
Go to your 9 to 5 and everything's like planned out. Like we live pretty like much by the seat of our pants or whatever. Like we're pretty free spirits. But I want to not let that I want to not let having a kid get in the way of that, because I want them to see us still chase our dreams. Because one thing that my dad always put into me was to always go after your dream. He didn't have that opportunity as a kid. He had to quit school when he was in like 6th grade to help his parents work. And one thing he always told me was like, chase your dream, chase your dream, chase your dream. So I took that very, very seriously from a young age. And I want to pass that on to our kid but I want them to actually physically see us do it. So yeah, just keeping the dream alive. Also like health wise, like I want to get healthy. Like I want to start eating better. I mean, I already go to the gym all the time, but I need to clean up the diet. But like now there feels like more of a reason to do it than just for me.
That's what I was going to say. It puts a different weight to things because it just feels like this is so much bigger than just me,
Yeah.
Not in a selfish way, but it's like, okay, now someone's going to be watching our every move and absorbing that, like whether it's intentional or not, it's like absorbing habits and patterns and yeah. What they see is kind of like how you mirror as a kid, whenever you're like learning, that's what you mirror,
yeah. And I'm also like, I'm excited to see how it changes my perspective as a storyteller, because already I'm viewing life through a different lens. And, I'll see like a dad with their kid and I'll just think of like, what's their story? Like why do they do this or why do they do that? And how can, I don't know, just my like view on everything has already started to shift. And I feel like it's going to help even in my storytelling when I develop characters or whatever, like giving them different motivations and it just giving like a whole new meaning to that.
That's true. Like relationship dynamics, because I mean, our friends that are parents and also creative, they've all said like, yeah, it does shift the way that your brain functions, and I think it's really cool to be able to, a lot of times, I don't know, there's this like stigma, like when you become a parent, it's all over. Like I hate when people say that.
Yeah, well, it becomes all about the kid, which I mean, it does to an extent, but like, I think people take that in a different way.
Yeah, they say it like doom and gloom.
Yeah.
Like your life is over. I mean, people say that when you get married. Like that's why people call it the ball and chain. They're like, oh, your life is over. Like you can no longer have freedom or have fun or whatever. And I've always like hated that. I mean, I know not everyone feels that way, obviously, but I've always hated that there's that like reputation for it's like, oh, you're just in the next stage of like life jail or something. And I'm like, no, it should be the opposite. You know, I feel like you are very much in control of the amount. I mean, you're always going to have stress, but the amount of fun that you let yourself have, even as an adults, like, I don't know why people think adults have to stop having fun. I'm like, why not?
I guess it depends on the type of fun that adults like to have.
Well, obviously, I mean, there's different definitions of fun, but I just think like when I say fun, I mean like a child, like childlike, innocent,
your freedoms.
Fun. Yeah. And it's like, it doesn't mean you don't have responsibility, but it's like, you don't have to just become this robot that's only function is to just make money, you know? And I think that people forget that there's so much importance in making sure that you're still fulfilling just that part of you that's like makes you laugh or makes you happy or brings joy in your day, you know? Anyways, that was a little bit off, but
but yeah, we're excited. We are doing the gender reveal. Well,
this weekend.
If you're watching this tomorrow, but as of recording this, this weekend.
And we get to find out if it's a boy or a girl.
We're going to find out. I'm excited. We are having like over 60 of our close friends and family there.
Our closest friends and family. It's like everyone's like, oh, it's like a group of 10. It's like, no, our close friends and family is humongous.
So, it's a whole new chapter of life that I'm excited. And that little baby better strap up because we're going on a crazy adventure. And it's along for the ride.
Like it or not. No, it's going to be so fun. I am just ready to kind of embrace all of the unknowns. I'm trying to treat it instead of being, I mean, don't get me wrong, I am terrified, but instead of being so stressed about the unknowns, I'm trying to treat it as like, you know, whenever you're going through a place you've never been and it's like kind of scary, but it's like exciting. Not necessarily like a roller coaster, but it's like you don't know what's around the corner. I'm trying to treat it with a good excitement versus like anxiety, you know, and just let the unknowns, just take them a day at a time. I'm not saying it's not going to be freaking hard, but I think that whenever you look at it as like, I can't wait to just like figure this out together, like all three of us, like you, me, and this little baby, it's going to be really cool to just navigate new waters, you know? Yeah. So we got a lot going on. Yeah. And a lot that we haven't like been able to fill in on the podcast. So I'm glad that we were able to talk about it, but we saw a lot of movies too. Yeah. In the past. You want to talk about Mexico?
Oh yeah. We went to Mexico last week.
Yeah.
It was fun. We went with our friends Monica and Jesse and
got to unplug.
Yeah, recharge.
And just sit by the water under a palm tree.
It's so funny because I went there thinking like, all right, I'm gonna like unplug. I'm gonna write. I had like all these ambitions of like just focusing on filmmaking and like getting my shorts lined up and everything, and none of that happened. But
you got a lot of really good ideas and you got very
inspired.
Yeah. I think it's funny whenever we try to like force no one, I mean, obviously all you can do is try, but you have these plans and you try to force inspiration to hit, you know, or like, you're like, oh, I'm going to have a creative retreat. And it's like, sometimes it works and sometimes your brain doesn't think creatively. I mean, I think we were truly like, when I say unplug, I feel like we were kind of like just disconnecting from everything, socials and emails, and because we have had such a crazy few months with shooting, and sometimes it takes like a whole week of that before you're like, oh, now I can think creatively, you know?
Yeah, it was good to just power down and just like live in the moment for a week and not worry about.
And that's what I was saying about having fun earlier, because it's like we were with friends and there were so many nights that we were just like, I don't even know what we were laughing about, but we were like belly laughing like late at night, like you do whenever you're like at a slumber party with your kid, like when you're a kid, whenever you're like 10 years old. And it just feels good as an adult to have moments like where you're like, wow, like it's still fun to have fun, you know? And I think that, whenever you're with friends that you can let your guard down, it's just like so refreshing. Yeah. But on our last day, You got hit like a ton of bricks with an idea.
Yeah, an idea. I don't really want to say it yet though,
okay.
because I don't want to. I don't know. Like I want to. It's just a seed of an idea. It's just literally like when I come up with ideas for like a film or whatever, it's usually a shot, like a scene that I see in my head. I mean, I guess I can kind of talk about it, but
don't say specifics, but
No.
you can just lay out like where we were, what we were listening to.
So we're at a resort, and there's this big like central area of the resort where at night they would turn it into like concerts or shows or whatever. And the last night we were there was a mariachi band that was playing, and we were there watching them, and they were so good. And then a couple, they were like up next to perform, but they were dressed in full, like, I don't even know what it's called, but like
Traditional Mexican dance.
Yeah. With the big sombrero hat, and she had the huge dress on, and they were walking, and they had stage lights that were kind of going on in the background that were for the performers that were there. And it almost, to me, it looked like they were walking in slow motion. So he had this big hat, and he was like kind of looking down, dressed in all black. And she was in like super vibrant colors.
It almost felt like they were backstage because they weren't performing when we saw them.
No.
They were like on their way to the stage.
Yeah, they were just walking. And I just saw this like scene in my head of them like, I don't know, just entering this building with like these crazy lights. And it just like sparked this whole idea for me, which I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't have it yet, but I can see it. And that's usually how a lot of my ideas start, is I see a scene like that, or even just a shot. And I ask myself, what's the story here? Like what's happening? And I'll just like spider web off of that.
I'm the same way in a sense with writing and with like, I mean, my brain thinks more in still images, obviously, but in like color. And it's so cool because while we were there, I was literally like, we were building new Kirby color presets on the spot because the palm trees there were like such a rich green. But when you think about palm trees, you think about like a blue sky and a blue ocean and like bright, vibrant green. Not that that's bad, but very much like postcard palm trees. And I was viewing it, I don't really know why, maybe it's just how my brain works, but in so much of a moodier lens, I guess, or like moodier perspective. And so I would find palm trees that were in indirect light. So not indirect sunlight, not in space, direct sunlight, not indirect.
Yeah.
And then, which is indirect lighting. And basically they were either in the shade or they were in an area where light was bouncing off of a wall and lighting them from underneath or something. And then I would take photos. I mean, it's funny, we didn't even bring our cameras on the trip.
Nope.
We told ourselves we're not going to shoot anything. But even just with my iPhone, I was taking all these images with my phone and looking like, how was the light bouncing? How was the light moving around? And then using those pictures as my base for, not even with the intention of making new Kirby color, but just color grading. I just love color grading. I treat it just like a game, but getting these like deep, desaturated, low luminance greens.
Yeah.
Where it just felt like it wasn't even cloudy, but it just felt like we were in like a rainforest rainstorm or something. So I get super inspired from that, like in a similar way to where I see something and I'm just like, oh, I just want to create this environment or this tone from somewhere. So yeah, it
was good. I think all in all, it's like important to take breaks and to leave the camera, I say like not physically leave the phone, but just like, leave social media and everything.
Sometimes you should leave the phone, honestly.
And focus on literally not focusing on things, like just clearing your mind. And I think that's when
it's honestly really hard to do. It's hard to not feel guilty.
Yeah.
Whenever you're so used to being like, go, go, go. And I have to fight that. Like, it's okay to just sit here and listen to the birds.
And I think on that last day, like I was ready to come home, like ready to get it back into my routine and everything. And then like, that's when like all the inspiration hit. And sometimes inspiration won't hit, and that's okay. Like you're not going to
can't plan it.
You're not going to have this like wave of, okay, this is when it happens. But when it does, it's awesome. So it was really good to get the chance to do that. And hopefully we'll be able to flesh that out and make it into an actual film, because I've I'm working on some stuff right now, but I really want to make a really good action movie pitch for the Brass Knuckles thing with Robert Rodriguez. He's been everywhere on podcasts, so if you want to come on ours, let me know. I would love to have you on here. But
that'd be insane. That would be a full circle moment.
That would be crazy. But yeah, I want to do. So he has this. I guess it's like a crowdfunding thing, where if you invest into one of his films, then you get to have a pitch for one of your films, and they'll make it into a movie. So I did that. I invested, and I'm working on a pitch. So in the next few weeks, exciting. I want to shoot like the coolest action movie trailer ever to be able to pitch it to him. So
what projects are currently? I know you're working on one with Cameron.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, what projects are currently in motion?
So right now, a short film I have called Thicker Than Water. That's the one with Cameron.
Are you keeping that title? Like, that's the official title?
Yeah. I mean, things always change, but I really like that title.
Yeah.
So that will be, the original plan was to shoot that in May, but all of this, like the pitch thing's happening, and I think it's happening pretty quick. So I think I might push that to June possibly. And in May.
To do the other one first.
Yeah. I want to I'm trying to decide between a actual short film or a trailer for one.
Or even a scene, which is technically a short film, but like a
scene of one.
Yeah.
So that's going to be that's the more immediate one. And then also I love music. That's like my first love is music. So I love shooting music videos. And right now I'm working on planning a music video for Micah Edwards.
Which song? What are y'all doing? Is it the Texas?
It's for his new EP. I forget the name of the song, but he's like Leon Bridges vibe, super talented guy.
Yeah, he's incredible
in Houston, and he just got off a tour with Johnny Swim. So I reached out to him a while back. We were supposed to film one last month, but he ended up going on tour.
It was before he even knew that he was. That was like a last minute thing. Yeah.
So now he's back, and we're working on doing a really cool music video. It's cool because he wants to do it like a short film style. He's like, I don't even want to be in it. Just like go have fun with it. So
it's technically like 3 short films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm really, really adamant on writing my feature this year. And I have a couple of ideas for a feature. So
you started writing.
Yeah, I started writing one.
The musician one.
Mm-hmm. That one is definitely going to require more of a budget. But I'm also like wanting to make a more simpler feature film, something that's like a little bit more feasible to do. So yeah, a lot of plans for
just
stuff.
To get a feature under your belt.
Yeah, a lot of plans for stuff. Also, Glow won an award.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I forgot.
And it just got into a new festival.
Today I found out it got into
We
another
haven't even
festival.
told the squad.
Haven't told anybody yet.
Yeah.
So another Houston festival, World Fest, it won gold.
Remy.
A gold Remy award there, which is awesome. I think that went on while we were in Mexico last week. And today I found out that it got into another one in New York City. So we'll see if we
add some more laurels. Yeah. Well, official selection.
Yeah, official selection.
Yeah. So this is the 3rd festival for Glow.
3rd festival, yeah.
That's so exciting.
Crazy. It's good. It's getting towards the end, though. I think next couple of months will be the end of like all the ones that I've submitted to. So
that's crazy because we filmed it so long ago. Well, it feels like an eternity ago. And I know that's just how I mean, I can't imagine people who work on the big, like on features that it takes literally years before no one ever sees them for so long. And it's just like, you're almost a different person by the time.
Well, it's crazy. There's a guy that I follow right now that he is working on his first feature. He wrapped filming a year ago. And I remember when he was like posting behind the scenes of it, and I was like, there's no way it's been a year, but he's still editing it a year later.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just crazy. Like how much time goes into these things. And then like, if he wrapped a year ago, he's probably, I would assume, trying to get on the festival circuit for the next year. So that means he's probably going to start submitting soon for them to play 2026.
Yeah, that's wild.
So it's 2 years later of like all this time and money and everything like that.
Yeah.
So it's a long road.
Yeah, you have to really love the project. I mean, because you'll get sick of it. Like you have to like really love it. I mean, I'm sure people do get sick of it because it's like by that time you're like, I don't even want to hear that movie titled, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's part of the, whenever it's such a big operation, that's just like part of the game.
Yeah. We got a lot of cool projects in the pipeline, but the ambitious part is I want to get all of that done before September.
Yeah.
So that's where it's getting.
I have about 5 months.
Yeah. Plus keeping up with this podcast, because I genuinely enjoy doing this podcast, and then we want to ramp up our YouTube presence also.
Oh yeah,
so
that's another shoot that we did. I don't think we talked about that shoot on the podcast.
Yeah. So we did. I'm working on finishing the Rodman behind the scenes, but then we also did 2 photo tutorials. So a lighting one and a posing one.
We haven't done that in years.
Yeah.
It felt like we were like dusting off an old an old skill.
There's so much. Today actually I was working on the lighting one. There's so much good stuff in that one.
I felt so rusty.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that was definitely one of those, you were like, you're wearing this mic whether you like it or not, because it's so hard for me to shoot and I don't even want to say teach, but like think about what I'm saying, because whenever, I'm glad that we're doing it very raw style, because whenever I'm shooting, it's like I'm focused on shooting and I can't think like, oh, let me stop and walk through my brain process. Like, let me think out loud. That's what you kept telling me. Like think out loud, just like talk through what your brain, and it's hard to do that, because whenever you're in autopilot, you're like, I don't know, I'm just doing it. These videos are really cool. They're different than anything we've done before. It's literally just like super raw, no like flashy editing, just almost like you're there on a shoot. Yeah, we went to Galveston. We got to shoot with Hannah. She's amazing. She literally drove all the way from Dallas to come model for us.
To and from Dallas in the same day.
Which
crazy.
I'm like, she is such a trooper, but she is such an amazing model. So she just made it so easy, almost like too good of a model, because she just made it so easy for all the shots to just look so dynamic. And that was really fun. I've been like holding on to those photos because I want to be able to share them when the videos come out on YouTube. But
so we have a lot of like cool plans for that stuff, like more tutorials. I want to talk just about writing and the festival process and stuff like that. And we're changing the channel, or I did already change the name of the channel to back to Justin and Kirby. That's what it originally was. Then I went just under my name so that I could put like
filmmaking.
Yeah, like more of my demo stuff. But now since we started the podcast, I've moved it back to Justin and Kirby, and we're going to like kind of revamp it and have it, everything. Everyone says you should niche down, but I'm like, you know what? We're just going to
so hard. We're
going to
love
vomit
so many
everything
things.
on here. Yeah. We're going to have the podcast on there, tutorials on there, filmmaking stuff on there. Everything will be on there. So
I think that as I don't know, social media is changing. I think that people just need to stop trying to polish everything, or to filter
curate,
everything. Yeah, curate is a good word, because it's like, who says we can't love doing lighting tutorials and also make movies?
Well, this is literally our life. Like if you're with us for an entire day, you'll see our brain ping pong from photos to client work to filmmaking to just talking like this about our dreams. Like it literally pivots all over. So it's like, why not reflect that in our YouTube?
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. It keeps it's never boring. That's for sure. Yeah. Sorry, I like totally pivoted earlier, but you were talking about movies that we've seen.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What have we seen? I know we saw Warfare.
Oh yeah.
That was amazing.
Stressful.
Yeah.
Amazing, but
if you haven't seen it yet, I don't know. I'm going to try not to give spoilers, but you might want to. In my opinion,
you just are like, I feel like you're just trying to catch your breath the whole time.
Yeah.
Because it's just so intense.
And it's like not like a traditional movie. Like usually when you watch a war movie, you have an arc of like the hero and all this stuff. This was like, the best way I can explain it is just a word for word recap of what actually happened.
You feel like you're there. That's the best way to describe it. And like you're living it alongside them.
It feels just as intense. All the lingo from like all the behind the scenes I've seen is exactly how they talk. 3 minutes, like when they say you're 3 minutes out in the film, or in real life, it's 3 minutes life on film, or 3 minutes out on film. It's crazy.
Which I never expected. You would think that would be like, it would drag on, but it's like, I never expected it to be, it builds the tension more, whenever, like something as simple as them saying, like whatever, 3 minutes until someone gets to us or something. It's like, if I were in the editing chair, I'd be like, no way we can let 3 minutes of footage roll. It's like, we got to cut this down to like 30 seconds or something just to build like intensity or anticipation. And it's kind of the opposite. So it was really cool to see a different approach. I've never seen that used in filmmaking before, but it also didn't feel like a documentary. It felt real. Like it felt like you were there, but it didn't feel like you were watching it from afar, if that makes sense. Like
felt
a
like you
documentary.
were in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that. Death of a Unicorn, another A24 movie.
I loved
so good.
So weird, but I loved it so much.
Yeah, a unique story it was fun. We saw the Minecraft movie.
Oh yeah.
That was cool. I like seeing everything. Like we saw Snow White. Like we'll go see everything just to get a broad idea of what's going on in the film industry right now. And it's really cool to see like the drastic difference between something like the Minecraft movie or something like we talked about a few episodes back. Bob Trevino likes it, which is cool because it actually had a theatrical run after that
here
festival.
in Sugarland.
It came to our theater here for like 2 weeks, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But it's so
Super
cool.
proud of them.
It's just very interesting to see the difference in the two, I guess, aspects of like huge budget. This is a business to like, this is a passion project.
Yeah. And there's definitely, I know everyone right now is like hating on the studio, the stuff that studios are putting out because you're losing a lot of the unique storytelling. But I don't know, maybe it's just my toxic positivity, but I definitely feel like there's still a lot of good that's being done with how do I word it?
I think it's good because it's keeping people in the movies.
That's what I was going to say. Like, to where there's still enough draw that's happening to where it's like, okay, people still want to go see a popcorn movie
in a theater,
on a big screen. And I'm like, I hope that doesn't die, even though the smaller independent filmmakers are telling more unique stories. It's like those aren't from a marketing perspective, they're not getting in front of the eyes of people. So it's like most of the time people don't even know that those movies exist.
Yeah it's definitely harder to fill a theater with whatever movie that
just because of the lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
Not because it's not as good, but
usually what I've noticed is like take Sinners, for instance, that's out right now. We haven't got to see it yet because we were in Mexico, but
I'm too scared.
That movie is a unique story. And I think I saw something today where it was like the highest grossing not independent, but like not part of an IP movie to date or something like that. Oh,
wow. I didn't know that.
But even movies like that, I feel like they put a lot behind the promotion of it, but also it took it a little time to ramp up. Like they don't start out on top. I think it takes word of mouth, people like going and seeing it and then telling other people and it just kind of growing and it kind of just
And online,
peaks.
One of the good things about the social media thing is that when people start talking about it, it can kind of have a delayed viral moment where it's like, wait, everyone's talking about this movie. I'm not even a moviegoer, but I just want to go see because everyone's talking about it, on, obviously Reddit and Rotten Tomatoes and all that, but even just Instagram, Threads, TikTok.
And what's crazy is like that movie, they hid what it was about really well.
In the trailer.
So like to be able to not give away all the meat of the story and for it to be high grossing, it was crazy. And I don't know if like other people saw this, but maybe because I was like interacting a lot with it online, but everything that was getting promoted to me was about how it was made. Like Ryan Coogler talking about, the IMAX format and everything like that. And I feel like him nerding out on that film stuff.
If you haven't seen that, I don't know. Was it on TikTok?
TikTok. I mean, they uploaded it everywhere. It's on YouTube.
I was going to say, if you
now.
haven't seen that breakdown and you care at all about movies, it's definitely worth a watch because it's so interesting.
Yeah. And I think that got people that may not have understood it or may not even be filmmakers into it because they went in a little deeper. So I feel like doing more things like that and like interviewing, I guess, the filmmaking process of it gets people more excited because they see the passion behind it and they see that it's not just another like huge movie that.
And people I feel like do care more, and maybe it's just because cameras have gotten so much more accessible to where I feel like the general population has a pretty good understanding of like cameras. I mean, not necessarily like cinema cameras, but more than back in the day. It's like I feel like
there was such a big gap
between the understanding, and so now I feel like people do have a greater appreciation because it's a little bit more attainable.
And I think people just love hearing other passionate people be passionate about what they love.
Yeah,
and that's what like all the interviews with Ryan were. It's just him just loving film and loving
it's contagious.
Movies. Yeah.
When you're around anyone, it doesn't matter. It could be like someone that's passionate about crocheting. Like if you're around them and you hear that passion come out, I feel like it's such a like a contagious energy that it just makes you like, I'm so excited about this. I don't necessarily want to do it, but I'm just excited because you're excited. I think that's really, it's fun to be around people like that.
Yeah. I definitely see a resurgence in like the independent film movement. Like it seems like more people, general people, are caring about unique stories than just hopping on the next, IP that's been there. And it's what I love is I love seeing the trailers and the difference in that. Like you go see an A24 movie and it's just like unique movie after unique movie after unique movie. But then you go see something like Minecraft. Every trailer in that is something you've heard of before, whether it was a book or a video game or another movie, a sequel. It's all stuff that you're familiar with. But whatever's getting people in the theater, I don't care.
Yeah. And that's what I said earlier. I think that there's still a need for those big, giant studio produced movies because at the end of the day, they have the money to put the marketing behind getting people in the seats, you know?
So if you're watching this and you don't already go to the movies, please go to the movies. Keep it alive. Keep it going.
It's expensive, but if you get the AMC membership, if you have an AMC close to you, it's only $20 a month and you can go basically unlimited times. Which the cost of one Dolby ticket, I think if you go once or twice, it like pays for itself.
Yeah.
And you get discounted popcorn, discounted concessions. This is a not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Not sponsored. I wish from AMC.
But that's we go so much. We utilize that. We go probably 2 or 3 times a week because
it's just a flat $20. Yeah.
Yeah. So go to the movies, show love to the independent films, go see everything. Stuff you've never heard of. Those are the funnest movies. The ones that we just like look on the app. We're like, what's showing? You're like, oh, I never even heard of that. Let me watch a trailer. And you watch it and you're like, let's go see it. And those end up being some of our favorite movies.
Yeah.
Like Thelma.
Yeah.
That was such a good movie.
That was and it was once again, such a unique story. Such an unassuming main character. And like, I don't know if unassuming is the right word, but like, a non-traditional main character to where it's like this elderly woman that just has the best personality and you just instantly fall in love with her and you're like, I just want to see this character win at the end of the film, Yeah. Yeah. You're like, pause. Yeah. So, it's been really cool. And we're actually behind on movies because we were out of town last week and the week before. But
and the week before that. Yeah, the past 3 weeks we traveled a lot.
We were in North Carolina.
Dallas.
We were in Dallas. Yeah.
Mexico. So now
I had a birthday.
Yep. Birthday. It's been a crazy month.
My birthday was on Easter. It was a crazy month. And today the last day of April?
Yeah, April.
Crazy.
And then we have the gender reveal this weekend.
Yeah.
But after that, things should become more regular and we can...
You always say that. And
I know. It never happens. But yeah, if you have any ideas for guests or anybody that watches this that wants to be a guest on here, hit us up. If you're into filmmaking, we'd love to talk and chat and get insight on all that. And
it's been such a long time since we've done one just us. And it's fun. I mean...
it's fun.
It's different, but it's different than having a guest because the guest... It's like focusing on their backstory and everything, but it's also fun just because like we never really get to just chat like this. So.
Yeah, and like have updates of like our life and what's going on and stuff to look back at and everything.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
this is fun. We are going to do probably one more of us, and then I have some guests planned that I want to bring on. So
secret.
Yeah. So make sure you're subscribed and look out.
And on YouTube, there's just going to be a wide range of stuff.
Yeah, we're going to whiplash YouTube like it's going to be wild. But yeah, make sure you like and subscribe and comment on all this stuff because it really helps. It helps YouTube push it out, helps Spotify push it out, and yeah, we love doing this, and we want to continue to do it even when the baby comes.
Yep.
We may have it right here napping, but
That's what, yeah.
We'll
I
do
was
it.
like,
We'll keep it going.
It'll just be the new centerpiece.
Yeah.
What are you, closing thoughts, what are you the most excited about for next week?
Next week?
Yeah.
Well, besides gender reveal?
No, I mean, like a normal week. Not this weekend, but like an empty week.
Okay.
Like, what are you the most excited about tackling?
The pitch for the Brass Knuckles Robert Rodriguez film thing.
When you say pitch, you mean like a pitch deck or like...
No, like a
script?
So like either a trailer or a short film. Like planning it out, pre-production.
Okay.
Yeah, not
but
actually
how do
filming
you... When you submit, do you submit a pitch deck or you submit the film?
a video. So with me, I got, if you backed it within the first 48 hours, there's different rounds of it. The first round is just a written pitch.
Okay, like
and
a script.
Yeah, and if you move past that round, you get to go to a video pitch. So I got to bypass the first round, and I'm going to go straight to video pitch.
But it's you talking about it, or it's the actual
Both.
trailer?
Both.
Oh, okay.
So in my opinion, in my idea,
Yeah.
I want to talk about it because I want to be able to talk about how he's inspired me.
Yeah, the significance.
How I was in Spy Kids 3 as an extra and like meeting him when I was like 11 years old. I want to talk about all that and then be like, also,
how much it means.
Check this out, because I feel like the best way to pitch something and to show something is to actually show it and not just talk about it.
Right.
So I want to like create a really cool film and just make a hype reel about it, essentially.
Cool. Yeah.
So that's what I want to do this week and get it all planned so that I can shoot it possibly within the next couple of weeks.
That's exciting.
Yeah. What about you?
When I asked you that, I didn't have an answer for myself. I really want to shoot again. I've been shooting a lot client work, which is amazing, but I want to do kind of like what we did with Hannah, but I want to do another shoot that's not that I mean, we could do like film some BTS, but where the purpose isn't so much that it's tutorials, because with Hannah's shoot, we were filming with the purpose of lighting and posing tutorials. But I want to do just do another concept shoot. I haven't done a conceptual shoot in years, to where there's, it sounds so like artsy fartsy, but to where there's like, not that I have to release it, but like an artist statement and like a concept that I develop, creative direct. And I'd love to be able to bring some people on, hire a professional model, bring on an assistant, lighting assistant. So the plan, obviously not to actually shoot it next week, but to plan it. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we hop on the podcast next week, we'll give an update of what we've done.
Ooh, now it's like accountability.
To hold us accountable for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that's something that it works different creative muscles, like different parts of your brain whenever you're not thinking. My biggest struggle is I always just think in terms of like client work, which is good. You have to still think creatively, but the purpose for client work is so different than the purpose of like passion work, because it's like making something that's supposed to be getting people's attention, or it's for, sales and marketing, which is needed, but it's like different than when you're just fulfilling something that needs to like come out of your brain.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be a good week. I'm excited. Yeah. I think
I'm ready to be home for a week.
Me too.
I think I'm excited to just be in a rhythm to where we can, just be on our routine. Like we can work out, we can cook at home. We can, I don't know. So many things fall into place whenever you're just in your groove.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Me too. I'm excited to, I don't know. I feel like I have all these ideas. Like, I just spewed a bunch of them out. And who said that? Ian, maybe?
Ian, yeah.
It's like, I have all these ideas.
But it's just like,
it's a mess in my, a mess in my brain. So I really want to focus on this next week of putting them all out on paper and calculating a plan, because that's how you get things done.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was fun. I feel rusty. I feel like, I don't know, I got in a good groove of chatting, and then now I'm like, how do you do this again?
Well, like I said, we haven't done just me and you it's been over a month.
Yeah. And it's always hard doing these because like for the Rodman thing, I know I was there, but like talking outward so that everyone else can hear.
But a lot of times we don't recap some of the stuff, and there's things that I'm like, oh, I didn't even like, I didn't even know you felt that way
Yeah.
about something. So yeah, anyways.
If there's any topics or, like I said, people or questions or anything that you have for us on the podcast, DM them, comment
you got to
them.
do the hidden emoji if you made it this far.
Oh yeah, I haven't done that in like the past four
Yeah.
episodes. All right, so if you made it this far to the end, comment palm tree emoji for Mexico.
Nice.
And
Let us know you made it.
comment a palm tree, and then also comment what are you most excited about for this next week to tackle.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to hear that.
It doesn't even have to be like filmmaking.
No,
Like
anything.
It can just be like, I'm
Vacuuming your room.
ready for my laundry to be done.
So comment a palm tree and what you're most excited for this next week, and we will see you next week right here, same time, same place at the Storyboard Podcast.
Let's go.